Do you believe in religion? Do you believe Jesus died for his sins? Do you believe Jesus died and went to heaven? Do you believe that Jesus wants to tell you what to do? Is Jesus always tapping you on the shoulder when you're trying to talk to somebody? When Jesus tries to tell you to do something, do you ask yourself, what did Jesus do? Come join me on my journey as I tell you what did Jesus do. When I was in high school, Jesus came to me in a dream and told me I was going to die. I asked him when I was going to die. He laughed and said, soon, of course. I asked my Lord what I needed to do to make sure I was accepted into heaven, and he told me that the Lord Jesus helps those who help themselves. He told me that while I was still healthy, I should make all the necessary physical preparations for death, like laying out the clothes I wanted to be buried in, my Cubs uniform, and choosing the music to be played at my service. None. Most importantly, he said, I must prepare the earth to accept me, and then he handed me a shovel. Jesus told me that I needed to dig my own grave to show my commitment to the Lord. I told him I'd never dug a grave before, and he said I was lying. I said I really don't know what I'm supposed to be doing and that I could use your help. He told me that I just needed to dig a hole long enough and wide enough so that I fit into it, and that it's not that complicated. I asked him how deep it needed to be, and he said the words that I have never forgotten. When thou hast dug deep enough, thou wilt find me waiting for you. When I awoke, I immediately went out behind the garage with the shovel that Jesus had given me and broke ground. The soil was hard and rocky and nearly impossible to dig through. I decided early on that to reduce the amount of digging I was going to need to do, I was going to have to be buried sideways. By lunchtime, my grave was only 6 feet long, by 1.5 feet wide, by 1.5 feet deep. The soil got harder and the rocks larger, and by dinner it was just over 2 feet deep. At that point, I thought I could see Jesus' foot sticking up in between a couple of large rocks, but I just could not go on. My hands were blistered and my back was killing me, and the whole process was very frustrating. I had to take the next day off from digging to heal. After that, I kept putting it off and then eventually kind of forgot about it until one night about 10 years later, I had another dream where Jesus was screaming at me and chasing me with a rake. When I woke up, I remember that time when Jesus gave me a shovel and I was supposed to dig my own grave behind the garage. I went to the garage and found that the hole I had previously dug was partially filled back in. All the rocks were still out, but someone had put some of the soil back in because I couldn't see Jesus' foot anymore. It just kind of looked like the nicely defined hole had become a dent in the ground with a pile of rocks next to it. I piled those rocks on top of the hole and told Jesus that I don't care how much he comes to me in my dreams and screams at me, I will not set him free from that hole, and I am never going to die. And I haven't died since, even though Jesus has caused many terrible things to happen to me.